WWE's roster is ridiculous. There are so many people on its books nowadays it's impossible to keep track, and that will likely only increase as they're not in the habit of letting individuals go anymore. Once you're in, you better get damn comfortable. Because of this though, it's so easy to forget that certain wrestlers are still sat around waiting for their turn, or waiting to go off somewhere else. They may come back to TV from nowhere, but when and if they do, you'll be shocked because the old saying is true. Out of sight, out of mind. With so much wrestling every week, there's no way you're going to remember that Ramfield Blogstein hasn't been seen in a while. For the record, there is no wrestler called Ramfield Blogstein. It was just an example. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is 10 wrestlers you forgot still work for WWE. Number 10, Lio Rush. Yes, Lio Rush, the man who at one moment was Bobby Lashley's promoter and the next just vanished off TV. He should be on Unsolved Mysteries. In terms of the story, we have no idea where he went and why nobody is worried about him. He's literally missing. With Lio, it's a situation where real life and narrative came crashing together, creating a fallout that's impossible to manage. Rush apparently caused quite a stir backstage when he refused to follow some traditional wrestling rules in regards to locker room veterans, and quickly found himself persona non grata. He was frozen out in days. Today, just seems like nobody talks about him. WWE hasn't removed his bio from the website, which does count for something, although Rush himself has distanced himself from his employer on social media. Took the WWE out of his name and everything, which is pretty serious. It's a shame really, as Lio and Bobby together were quite the pairing, and whether we actually see him back on Raw or SmackDown is anybody's guess. Seems like there's quite a big bridge to be built first, with neither wanting to budge. Number 9, Luke Harper. Much like Evolution, Luke Harper is a mystery. A great worker and someone WWE could definitely use, he's nowhere to be seen and hasn't in ages. While there are some rumours he's back on the road so could return all of a sudden, still doesn't explain why WWE shut the door on him so hard. Well, aside from the fact he posted on social media early in 2019 that he wanted to leave. That's always gonna hurt, but you can't blame the man. He was sat on the sidelines twiddling his thumbs, and while this power play didn't work, you can see why he gave it a go. All it seemed to do was get WWE to dig its heels in, though. Unfortunately, it does mean he could likely just have to sit out his contract, which is no way to live. What's worse, it was meant to end in November, but WWE was able to add an extra 6 months to it because of time missed through injury. That I just don't get. You don't want him, but you don't want anybody else to have him either. You're like a crazy ex-partner. The good news is when he is free, Harper can smash it anywhere in the world and hopefully remind us all what he's capable of. I'm with you, Luke. We'll get there together. Number 8, Tamina. Where the flub did Tamina go? She was on Raw and or SmackDown recently and then poof, gone, into dust. It likely had something to do with the team she had with Nia Jax. After Jax had to have surgery earlier in the year, WWE decided that Tamina didn't need to play any part on either show, even though no one is meaner than Tamina. There's a shirt for that and everything. I guess the plan could be that she's being kept on the shelf until Nia is ready to go. The question then, of course, is why? We don't know when that may be, and we have a women's single and tag division that could do with a few bodies, and shock horror, Tamina does have a body. She's also 41, so I would imagine would like to be working because, you know, that's what she does for a living. Even if it was losing to a repackaged Liv Morgan, that's fine. Tamina is massive, Morgan is not. It would make for a cool visual. For now, though, she's just a ghost. Number 7, the Singh Brothers. When Jinder Mahal was WWE Champion in 2017, you couldn't forget about the Singhs as they were everywhere. Adding quite a lot to the act, they also bounced off tables and furniture to serve their leader and really did take quite a beating. Remember when Randy Orton threw them so high you thought they may never come back down? Good times. The pair were present for Jinder's come down as well, but as soon as Mahal was shifted across to the 24/7 title picture, Sunil and Samir were shipped off to 205 Live. I mean, that's good on one aspect because their wrestling talent can actually be used, but as we know, the cruiserweight division is a bit like a graveyard. WWE only visits when they really have to. If you don't watch that show, however, all you know is that 1 minute Jinder had some friends, and the next minute he didn't. They just left him, which is actually quite mean. Number 6, The Big Show. Do you think The Big Show has retired? It's fair if you do. No one has a clue where he is, and he's obviously on the other side of his career. You'd be perfectly within your rights to assume he has stepped away, but no, He hasn't. Officially a member of the SmackDown roster, even though that means nothing these days, we haven't seen him since November 2018, where regrettably he was forced to have action with a hamstring tear. As of me speaking, that's 8 months, which seems like an awful long time, and also begs the question as to what his current state is. Let's just hope he's okay. Around this time, Show also spoke about a contract he has which keeps him tied to the company for the next 2 years, which probably means as soon as he is healthy, we'll see him in Saudi Arabia. Seems to be how it works these days. Number 5, the Colognes. Are you ready for this? Taking out Battle Royals, the Colognes have wrestled one TV match for WWE since November 2017. 2017! It was a losing effort against the Bar on SmackDown in August 2018, but outside of that, it's been Dark Match and House Show Central. Who on earth did they piss off? I just don't get why WWE keeps them around if they have no plans to use them, especially because not only are Primo and Epico good hands, but they offer something different to others on the roster. Their Puerto Rico flavorings always cheer me up, even if it was just their snazzy theme music. Remember when they would try and get us to visit there on holiday too? They were the days. It's not like the tag division couldn't use more bodies either. If WWE ever focused on it, teams like the Colognes would be perfect to throw in there, but for now it's a case of being held out of the ring for undisclosed reasons. I know both suffered injuries too, but unless one lost a leg, I think we could bring them back now. Number 4, Heath Slater. Poor Heath Slater, a guy that can fit into any role and often does when WWE needs to call upon someone. Don't forget that on the 24th of June 2019, he did win a WWE belt. It was the 24/7 championship after he had smashed up R-Truth, but still, it is true. He then lost it seconds later before falling back into the shadows. You can't even blame this on Rhino, who of course was not only Slater's tag team partner, but a wrestler who has indeed left the WWE after his contract expired. Even before all that, Heath wasn't really doing much unless it was on main event. And that's fine and all too, but it does feel like he could do more. This is why we all forget he's on the roster, however. He's either not featured or asking Shane McMahon for a pay rise and then getting beaten up by Drew McIntyre. Strange existence. You never know what the future holds and you can't fault Slater's loyalty. And if nothing else, he shall always be the one-man band. 3, Mansoor. If you're a casual WWE fan and I ask you to tell me who won the Battle Royal from the Super Showdown pay-per-view, you will likely say that chap from Saudi Arabia. This is a fair answer, as Mansoor, while being an employee of WWE, is used so strangely it's hard to keep up. Now I get why we did this and it was a nice moment for the hometown crowd and Mansoor himself, but WWE has not capitalized on this one iota, which doubles down on this idea that these events are nothing more than glorified house shows. You do some matches, put some wrestlers over, and forget about it as quickly as possible. I mean, Mansoor hasn't made a single appearance on WWE TV ever since he dumped Elias over the top rope, and it does seem like the company have just forgotten about Big Money Manny for the time being. Maybe he'll pop up when they return to the country later this year, but otherwise, you have every right to forget that he even exists. As a wrestler, if you're his friend, hopefully you know he's still there. Number 1 and 2, the Ascension. I know we put the Colognes into this list as one entry, but the Ascension's disappearance has basically been going on ever since they were called up from NXT, so we're going to put Connor at number 2, and we're going to put Victor at number 1. What they've been up to, nobody knows, and their last real performance of note was way back on the 8th of October 2018 episode of Raw, where they lost to Chad Gable and Bobby Roode in a tag team match. Afterwards, they got destroyed by the AOP, who you are also allowed to forget about at this stage. They've barely featured on TV either. The problem with the Ascension too is, what do you even do with them now? You could separate them into single stars, but WWE's roster is bloated as it is, and it is going to take some serious work to have them accepted as a dominant tag team. I mean, we could repackage them, but I think there's more hope that Mojo Rawley actually gets a proper run with his new character than that happening. Or hell will freeze over. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't want to see WWE try with either Victor, Connor, or anybody on this list, but at some point you have to take a step back and realize that maybe nothing is going to happen. If you're under contract, WWE would like to keep you that way unless the situation calls for it, which in the Ascension's case would be a storyline for 2, like, Egypt warrior dudes, or whatever their gimmick is supposed to be. I would imagine you're just gonna have to take things day by day and hope that maybe one day you will be used again. We are living in crazy wrestling times in 2019, and I would guess that in 2020, it's only gonna get more nuts. Know of any other wrestlers that you forgot still worked for WWE? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and I will talk to you again soon.